Oh, hi there. Do you want to be more smarter? Do you want to be immune to things like propaganda and fake news? Do you finally want to have the balls to stand up to your father on Thanksgiving and stand your ground for once? God damn it! Most importantly, do you want to learn how to think for yourself? If you answered no to any of those questions, then congratulations. You're an American citizen.
True.
For the rest of us, if you answered yes to any of those questions, you're in the right spot. Let's do this. What's going on, guys? Most of you know me. If you don't, my name is Benjamin. I wanted to put together a couple of videos just to kind of help you guys come up with your own thoughts and then put together your own arguments and be able to really just stand your own when you're having conversations with people, because I've just seen too many bad arguments out there. Like really, really bad arguments. So apologies in advance. This will be a little bit of a longer video. I do have to talk about a lot of boring stuff in this video in order for my other videos to make sense and to kind of give you a context of what we're going to be diving into. So usually the goal is to aim for like a 3 to 5 minute video where we talk about things from philosophy or science or psychology. Now, I will be using a lot of the technical definitions, and I'm going to throw out some big words for you guys to learn, but I'm not really concerned with you guys learning those big words. Moreover, I want you guys to be able to recognize the concepts and the argumentative tactics that a lot of people use, so you can either not use them yourself or recognize that other people are using them. For those of you guys that do want those big fancy words, I'm going to put everything important right up there. Yeah, buddy, that's for you. As far as my credentials are concerned, I don't have any. None at all. I do have an associate's in applied science and I have an associate's in quantitative reasoning, but those are fake degrees, so I'm really not counting those for anything. I do read a lot of philosophy on my own, so I'm going to be pulling a lot from the things that I've read, things that I've learned, other conversations that I've had, but I am also doing a lot of outside research in order to give you guys the best, most concise experience that we could possibly come up with together. And because I don't have any sound, solid credentials, and it's just me with my iPhone talking into my closet at this point, reach out to me if you guys have any questions through Instagram, Facebook, text me. If I say anything that's not right, let me know. I'll come out and I'll inform the world that I was wrong. And that's a very difficult thing for me to do, so you should be proud of me. Dad, please. But that's it. Let's dive straight in to formal and informal logic. Okay, so when we think about formal and informal logic, we have to remember that formal logic is flawless. Everything about it is right and it's true, and if it isn't, then the conclusion is going to be weird. So when you think formal logic, think about math or computer science, right? 8 plus 8 will always be 16. 2 plus 2 will always be 4. The square root of 3,465 will always be whatever that number actually is. And in terms of computer science, if you're trying to make a robot do something and there's a 0 where a 1 should be, that shit ain't gonna fly, dude.
Does not compute. Does not compute.
Now, when we think about informal logic, we're literally talking about anything else in the world. Anytime you, as a person, thinks about something, we're talking about informal logic. Anytime your cousin Ed, with the backwards hat and the lifted truck, wants to argue about something with Facebook, we're talking about informal logic. Every time you're trying to decide what to wear to prom, informal logic. Every time a politician says something, smart or not smart, it's informal logic. Every time you're trying to decide what to eat for dinner, it's informal logic. Every idea that anyone has had that is human and has come up with that idea themselves is informal logic. Now, because it's informal logic and because it's human, it's going to be flawed. And what we're looking at in the later videos is where those flaws come in and how huge and grandiose those flaws are to somebody that's trying to come up with a really solid, concrete, and true thought. Now, when I say argument, I'm not talking about the type of argument you get into with your significant other, your boyfriend, or your girlfriend. Now, this isn't the type of argument that no matter what you do, how many times you buy her flowers, how many nice dinners you take her to, if you never do the fucking dishes, she's still gonna get mad at you at the end of the night. What I'm talking about is what's known as a philosophical argument. So the philosophical argument, think about it like a really, really good thought with a lot of really, really good points to it. Like, you remember making essays in elementary school, or even now, if you're into that kind of thing, where you start with a premises, and then you go to another premises, and then you go to another premises, and then finally you have your conclusion at the bottom. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about arguments. So if you ever are on Facebook or Instagram or out there in the wild and somebody comes up and just wants to have an actual argument with you, you may use this structure of argument, where if they put their point forward, you would counter their point with your premises and your conclusion, not just a conclusion that you hope is going to make sense in the context that it is. Now, the cool thing about a philosophical argument is that the premises have to be true in order for the conclusion to be true. You just can't make shit up, CNN, and expect people to believe it, CNN. And I'm not naming any names here, CNN. So, an example of a perfectly valid argument would go something like this. All people that go to Comic-Con are nerds. I, Benjamin, go to Comic-Con. Ergo, I, Benjamin, am a nerd. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is a sound argument. You see where it is? 1 is true, 2 is true, 3 is true, because 1 and 2 are true. This is the big problem right here, though. Just because an argument is valid, or it sounds like it's true, does not mean it's true. You can have a true premises and a really bad conclusion. For example, if we all say that pizza is delicious, that is true. If we all say that pineapple is delicious, that is also true. If any of you morons think pineapple belongs on a pizza, that is not true. That is a bad conclusion from solid premises.
What is that?
Okay, Elsie, this is crap. This is crap.
What is that? I can't. Come on.
So step 1, make sure your premises are true. And then step 2, make sure they follow in a sequential, logical order. A leads to B, and B leads to C. And 3, make sure your conclusion makes sense based off of the premises that you had put in place before it. Which leads me to pro tip number 1 about how to win all the arguments you're in. If you are arguing with somebody who is not using sound logic, who is arguing their feelings or is all over the board, stop arguing. There is nothing good that's going to come of this. Like, if you think you're a smart guy and you think he's a dumb guy, and then you continue to argue with that dumb guy, then there's only 2 dumb guys. That's you, dumbass. It's you. Good arguments look like this, right? If I have an idea and you have an idea and we talk about it in a civilized and educational manner, then we're both leaving with 2 ideas, or at least the possibility that one of our ideas isn't as good as we once thought it was. That's kind of what we're looking for here. All right, guys, that's the end of the first video. Real quick, real to the point. That's kind of what I'm aiming for here. If I jumped over something real quick and you want me to go over it again, let me know. Always open for personal questions. And then just to wrap up in a nice, neat little burrito of a package, everything that we talked about today, remember the difference between formal and informal logic. Remember that a good argument is a list of true premises that lead to a true conclusion, and that validity does not necessarily equal truth. Just because something sounds like it's true does not mean like it is true. Take that with you through the rest of the week, and then I'll see you guys on another time. Peace out.